Good morning, students. Today our topic is cyber safety, and this is Unit 2. So, in this lecture, we will discuss some concept regarding to cyber safety, different types of cyber crimes here. So, let us start. First of all, what is cyber safety? Cyber safety refers to the safe and responsible use of internet so that to ensure safety and security of personal information and not posing threat to anyone else's information. That is the definition of cyber safety. Cyber safety refers to the safe and responsible use of internet so that to ensure safety and security of personal informations and not posing threat to anyone else information. That is called the cyber safety. Next, what is cybercrime? Cybercrime is basically is any criminal activity that involves a computer, a network device, or a network. That is the simplest definition of a cybercrime. So, cybercrime is any criminal activity that involves a computer, a network device, or a networks. And cybercrime is also defined as a crime where computer is the object of the crime or is used as a tool to commit an offense. Okay, so computer is defined as a cybercrime is defined as a crime where computer is the object of the crime or is used as a tool to commit an offense. And in short, we can say that cybercrime is any type of illegal activity that takes place via digital means. Digital means using any digital device, or we can say that using computer or any network device here. So, the US Department of Justice DOJ divides cybercrime into three basic categories. First category is a crime in which the computing device is the target, for example, to gain network access. That is the first type. Crime in which the computing device is the target, for example, to gain network access. Second, crime in which the computer used as a weapon, for example, to launch a denial of service attack, DOS attack. Denial of service attack means you are not able to access your own account, your own computer by yourself. Then it is called as a denial of service attacks. And third is crime in which the computer is used as an accessory to a crime. For example, using a computer to store illegally obtained data. Okay, crimes in which the computer used as an accessory to a crime. For example, using a computer to store illegally obtained data. So there are three different types of cyber crimes. In first type of cybercrime in which the computer device is the target, for example, to gain network access. Second, crime in which the computer used as a weapon, for example, to launch a denial of service attack. And third, crime in which the computer used as an accessory to a crime, for example, using computer to store illegally download data. So these are the three different types of cybercrime defined by the US Department of Justice, DOJ. So these are the different types of cybercrimes here. You can easily see that unauthorized use and hacking is a type of cybercrime. Most common cyber crime, if you can access unauthorized, if you just access an account which is not which for which you are not authorized, that is also called as a cybercrime. This is a type of cybercrime, and hacking is we always know that is a type of cybercrime. Web hijacking, if you hijack a website, that is also called a cybercrime. Pornography, child sexual abuse, these are the types of cybercrime also. And cyber stalking, we will discuss cyber stalking later on in this video. Software piracy is a type of cybercrime. Salami attack, we will discuss salami attack in these videos also. Service attacks, if you just attack on his service and prohibited a person to use that service, that is also a type of cyber attack or cybercrime. Virus attack, using virus, you just steal the data from any other computer, that is also, or just destroy the data, it is also called a cybercrime. And phishing, we will discuss the phishing in this videos also. So some important topics that will be discussed in these videos are phishing, farming, and spoofing. These are the three important types of cyber crimes we will discuss. These are related to each other, so all are considered into a single unit. Phishing here, not written any other else here. You can easily see that. Then salami attack, and then cyber stalking and cyberbullying. These two terms are used together. So let us take them one by one. First of all, salami attack. Salami or slicing. In information security, salami attack is a series of minor attacks. that together result in a larger attack. Computer are ideally suited to automating this type of attack. So in salami attacks basically is a series of minor attacks that together result in a larger attack, that is also called as the salami attack. Now I think this concept is quite clear to all of you, salami attack. Next is privacy. Privacy basically is not a type of cybercrime. These are the two terms, privacy and scam, that is discussed here in terms of the cyber safety. So privacy is the protection of personal information given online. In the e-commerce especially, it is related to a company's policy on the use of users' data. And scam is a term used to describe any fraudulent business or scheme that takes money or other goods from unsuspecting person. There is another term, scam. Scam is a term basically used to describe any fraudulent business or scheme that takes money or other goods from an unsuspecting person. And a person who does a scam is referred to as a scammer. Always remember that. Next is phishing. Phishing is a type of cybercrime, and phishing is the process of collecting your personal information through emails or website claiming to be legitimate. That is very important, most common type of cybercrime here. Phishing is the process of collecting your personal information through emails or website claiming to be the legitimate. For example, if you just there's a mail and that says that you win a lottery of about 20 lakhs or something else, and for this purpose, if you want to claim that lottery, you just give that personal information on a particular link. So you just go to that link and just type a personal information, whatever your Aadhaar card number, your personal details number, your name, your secondary name, your bank account details. In this type of information you can easily fill on that web page, and that submit that web page. Then you send or you just give your personal information to another person, and that person basically use that information for the purpose of identity theft and for the purpose of financial losses. So he can access to your bank account, and he can make another account or another social account on the behalf of that documents that you just provided to him. So that is a result in case of the identity theft and financial losses. So this case is called as the phishing. So phishing is the process of the collecting your personal information through emails or website claiming to be the legitimate, that are the correct one, that website are the correct one, and you just give your personal information to that website. So this information can include username, the password, your credit card or debit card number, your social security numbers, or your Aadhaar card numbers. Such types of details can include in phishing. And oftentimes the email direct you to a website where you can update your personal information. So phishing basically direct to a website where you can just give your personal information there. And because these sites look official, they hope that you will be tricked into a disclosing valuable information that normally would not reveal. So you just give their personal information, that because these sites looks very official. So this is the concept of phishing. I think concept of phishing is now quite clear to all of you. So let's take them point one by one. Phishing is the process of collecting your personal information through emails or website claiming to be the legitimate. First point. Second point is this information can include username, password, credit card numbers, social security numbers, etc. And oftentimes the email directs you to a website where you can update your personal information. And because these sites often look official, they have you will be tricked into a disclosing valuable information that you normally would not reveal. And this oftentimes result in identity theft and financial losses. So what is the final result of phishing? Identity theft and financial losses. Second term is spoofing. So in spoofing, an attacker alters his identity so that someone think he is someone else. So that is the smallest definition of spoofing, in which the attacker alters his identity, changes identity, so that someone thinks that he is someone else. And there are three different types of spoofing: email spoofing, IP spoofing, and web spoofing. And in spoofing, basically attacker basically use different email ID, user ID or IP address. So attacker exploit trust relationship between the user and the networks machine to gain access to the machine. And he can easily access these three: email, user ID or IP address. Using these three, he alters his identity so that someone thinks that he is someone else. And there are three different types of spoofing: IP spoofing, email spoofing and web spoofing. Basically in IP spoofing, attackers use IP address of another computer. As you know that IP address is a unique address, unique logical address that is provided by internet service provider, just like that Jio, Vodafone, Idea, Airtel. So whatever you have a same of different companies. So you have a basically some unique IP address for that purpose. So in this IP spoofing, attackers uses the IP address of another computer to acquire information, or another devices to acquire the information to gain access. And second is email spoofing. Attacker sends email but makes it appears to come from someone else. Attacker sends email but it makes it appear that it is comes from someone else. That is called the email spoofing. And third is web spoofing. Attackers tricks web browser into communicating with a different web server than the user intended. So user basically select wrong web server in the case of web spoofing. So these are the three different types of spoofing: IP spoofing, email spoofing and web spoofing. Now what is the difference between spoofing and phishing? In phishing, hackers try to steal the sensitive information of the user, as we know that according to the definition of the phishing. But in spoofing, hackers try to steal the identity to act as another individual. So that is totally different from in the case as compared to the phishing. Phishing, it is operated in a fraud manner, but spoofing, it does not require any fraud. Okay. In phishing, information theft. In spoofing, information is not theft, because according to the definition of spoofing, you can easily see that attacker alters his identity so that someone thinks that he is someone else. And next difference, in phishing, hackers try to steal the sensitive information of the user, but in spoofing, hackers try to steal the identity to act as another individual. That is a basic and major difference between phishing and spoofing. In phishing, hackers try to steal the sensitive information of the user, but in spoofing, hackers try to steal the identity to act as another individual. And phishing, it is operated as a fraud manner, but in spoofing, it does not require any kind of fraud. Next is phishing cannot be a part of the spoofing, but spoofing can be a part of the phishing. So sometimes spoofing, we can consider spoofing as a part of the phishing. Okay. And in spoofing, basically needs to download some malicious software in victim's computer. Without this, spoofing cannot be done. But in phishing, no such malicious software is to be needed. And phishing is done to get secret information, such as your Aadhaar card details, your bank account details, your password, your credit card information. Such type of detail can be accessed, can be get by using phishing. And spoofing is basically done to get a new identity. So spoofing basically done to get a new identity. And as far as typing of phishing is concerned, so there are three different types of phishing. Phone phishing, two types of phishing are here: phone phishing and clone phishing. And three types of spoofing are here: IP spoofing, email spoofing and URL spoofing. So that is the difference between phishing and spoofing. The main points are, first of all, in phishing, hackers try to steal the sensitive information of the user, but in spoofing, hackers try to steal the identity to act as another individual. That is the first important difference. And second important difference is that spoofing required to download some malicious software in victim's computer, but in phishing no such malicious software is to be needed. Okay. And third important difference, phishing is done to get a secret information, while spoofing is basically done to get a new identity. That is the purpose of the phishing and the spoofing. So the difference between the purpose of spoofing and phishing is that in spoofing basically it is done to get a new identity, while in phishing is done to get a secret information. Next concept that is very important, and that is also a type of cybercrime, it is called the pharming. And pharming is a major advanced technique to get user credentials by making effort to altering users into a website. That looks like same as that of phishing, but there is a little bit difference when we compare pharming to a phishing. In other words, it misdirects users to fake website that appears to be official, and victim gives their personal information by fault. And in pharming, fake website is created which appears to be official. Users then access the website and request is popped up regarding username and password and other credentials. So pharming, there are two important points. First of all, it is a more advanced technique as compared to phishing. Second is, in this, basically user credentials by making effort to entering users into a website, so redirect user to a fake website is the main of the pharming, is the main concept behind the pharming. So it misdirect the user to a fake website, and that fake website appears to be official, and where the victims gives their personal information by fault, not by intention, by fault, because this fake website appear to as same as that of the official website. That is the concept behind the pharming. And in this diagram you can easily see that there is an attacker, and this is the using DNS servers. It he basically redirect the user to a fake website, and user go to the fake website, think about the fake website that it is a legitimate website, but it is a fake website, and user just gives its personal information or post that personal information on that fake website. So what is the concept of DNS server? What is DNS server? A DNS server, also called as a domain name server, are the internet's equivalent of a phone book. So they are the equivalent of a phone book. They just same as that of the concept of the phone book, and they maintain a directory of domain names and translate them into internet protocol addresses, IP addresses. So domain name are finally converted into IP addresses. So this is necessary because although domain names are easy to people to remember, computers or machine access website based on the IP addresses, because different computer or different machine access websites on the basis of the IP addresses. So there is a concept of domain names. So domain names, domain names are the part of domain name servers, DNS servers, which collect all the domain names and translate them finally into internet protocol addresses. So domain name is just like a phone book. Domain name server is just like a phone book. It basically contains different domain names, and finally they translate this domain name to the IP addresses, because these IP addresses are basically used to access different websites. So in case of attacker first of all just attack on DNS server, and using DNS server he or she basically misdirect the user to and send them to a fake website where they just give their personal information or important information. Next, there is a difference between hacker and cracker. These two terms look like the same, but there is a difference between hacker and cracker. Basically, if in one line, if you want to say that how cracker and hacker are different, both are doing the same things, but crackers have malicious intentions as compared to the hackers, and they gain unauthorized access. They destroy important data. They stop a service provided by the server. or they basically cause problem for their targets. But in case of hacker, it is not so. Hackers must just do this, hack the data or programs for just find out the loopholes of that programs or the software, or just um, do it for their fun. So there is a difference, big difference between hacker and cracker. Or the big difference is that crackers are the, we can say that, criminals, or they have malicious intentions. But in the case of hacker, it is not so. So let us take these 4 points one by one. First of all, according to the definition of the hacker, a hacker is a person who is interested in the working of any computer operating system. Most often, hackers are the programmers, and hackers often advanced knowledge of operating system and programming language. They may know various security holes within system and the reasons of such holes. While the crackers is a person who breaks into other people's system with malicious intentions. Always remember that, with malicious intention. Okay, and crackers gain unauthorized access, destroy important data, stop service provided by the server, or basically cause problem for their targets. And crackers can easily be identified because their actions are malicious. And hackers constantly seek further knowledge, share what they have discovered, and they never have intention about the damaging or stealing data. That is the main point about hackers constantly seek further knowledge, so they just do the hacking for their enhancement of their knowledge, and share what they have discovered, and they never have intention about the damaging or stealing data. But as far as cracker is concerned, they have intention about the damaging or stealing of data. And hackers, they does not work against the law, and while crackers are always work against the law, so they are the criminals, we can say that. So they hackers basically, they are the always find weak points of the applications, operating systems, website, and secure it. And while the crackers, they have always bad intention whenever they work. So hackers basically try to find hackers are basically work for the try to find out the weak points of any application of the or any operating system or website, and they just try to secure it. So just find their main focus is to is to find out the main weak points of a particular application or of operating system or a website, and finally secure it. They secure these website or applications, while crackers basically do this work for bad intention, and they gain unauthorized access. They sometimes destroy data, steal the data, and stop service provided by the servers. So that is the basic difference between the hacker and cracker. Now I think the difference is very much clear to all of you, the difference between hackers and crackers. So crackers are the person with bad intention, while the crackers are the person who gain access, unauthorized access, but they have no bad intention. They just do it for their fun, or just to gain their knowledge, or just to recover, or just to find out the weak points of an application or a software, and their main focus is to secure the application. That is the purpose of the hacker. But crackers are the criminals. They just do it for their bad intention. They just access unauthorized access. They just want to destroy the data. They sometimes steal the data. They just stop the service, and so they have malicious intention, we can say that. So crackers are the bad persons, and they work against the laws. So that is the basic difference between hacker and cracker. Most of the times crackers are also called the hacker, but it is not so. There is a big difference between the hacker and crackers. Crackers are the persons with malicious intention, or we can say that the criminals are called the crackers. There are some other cyber crimes, that is illegal downloads and child pornography. So these are the two important cyber crimes also. Illegal download. What is the meaning of illegal downloads? Illegal downloading refers to the obtaining file for which you don't have the right to use or download from the internet. So if you download a file which you don't have a right, and somehow you just download that files, then this is called as a illegal download, and this is also considered as a cyber crime. Next is child pornography. A child pornography is defined as any visual or written representation, including images, movies, or text, that depicts advocate sexual activity, including sexual molestation or exploitation of anyone under the age of 18. So, under the age of 18, if there is a type of sexual or molestation or exploitation, then this is called as a child pornography. And Information Technology Act 2000 and Indian Penal Code 1816 provided protection from child pornography. Next is cyberbullying. There are two terms which comes together, cyberbullying and cyberstalking. So let us take them one by one. First of all, cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is the use of digital communication tools such as the internet or the cell phones to make another person feel angry, sad, scared, usually again and again. So that is the concept behind the cyberbullying. An example of cyberbullying includes sending hurtful text or instant messaging, posting embarrassing photos or videos on social media sites, and spreading mean rumors online with cell phones. These are all other types of the cyberbullying. And cyberbullying, there are the 4 points regarding to the cyberbullying. First point is cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices. First of all, like cell phone, computer, and tablets. So cyberbullying is that takes place over digital devices. That is first point. Second point, cyberbullying can occur through SMS, text, an application, or online in social media forums or gaming where people can view, or participate, or share their contents. Third point, cyberbullying includes sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. And next, it can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. Some cyberbullying crosses the line into unlawful or criminal behavior. Okay, so these are the four important points regarding to the cyberbullying. First of all, cyberbullying is takes place over digital devices. Second point, can occur through SMS, text, or application or online social media forums, etc. Third point, it includes sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. And fourth important point, it can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, which causing embarrassment or humiliation. So these are the 4 points regarding to the cyberbullying. Next, cyberbullying. Most common places are where cyberbullying occurs: social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. TikTok is now totally banned. So next is text messaging and messaging apps on mobile or tablet devices. Next is instant messaging, direct messaging, and online chatting over the internet. And online forums, chat rooms, and message boards such as Reddit, email, or online gaming communities. Next is cyber stalking. What is cyber stalking? Cyber stalking is defined as the online stalking. First of all, online stalking is called as the cyber stalking. It involves the repeated use of the internet or other electronic means to harass, intimidate, or frighten a person or a group. Okay, so it involves a repeated use of the internet or other electronic means to harass, intimidate, or frighten a person or a group. And cyber stalking is a crime in which the attacker harasses a victim using the electronic communication such as a mail or instant messaging, IM, that is also called as IM, or message posted on a website or a discussion group. So cyber stalking messages differ from the ordinary spam in that a cyber stalking targets a specific victim with often threatening messages, while the spammer targets a multitude of recipients with simply annoying messages. So there is a difference between spam and cyber stalking. Cyber stalking basically aims to frighten or to basically harass some person or a group. So that is the definition of the cyber stalking. So that is the difference between the cyber stalking and the cyberbullying. And what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is the act of stealing someone else's creative ideas or languages. It is considered to be a cheating and a corrupt act. And in advanced country, it is considered as a cybercrime. So to steal someone else's ideas, creativities, or a language, that is called the plagiarism, and it is also a type of cybercrime. So this is all about today's lecture. I hope you like this video. In this video, we already discussed some points regarding to cybercrime, different types of cybercrimes. So thanks for watching this video.